guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel, and hello if you are new. My name is McKayla. I'm a 21-year-old foster mom making videos about motherhood, foster care, cooking, cleaning, lifestyles, all that good stuff. So I know that I have been a little bit absent the past 2 weeks. We had a family vacation and things have just been going on in our foster care life right now. So hopefully that's what I'll explain to you guys, and you guys can get a better idea of where I've been the last couple of weeks. We did go on vacation to Florida with our foster loves, all of them, and some friends and a family member, and we were gone for about a week. So that was where we were for that. But I just wanted to hop on here and mostly update you on our foster care journey. I get messages all the time if we still have placements, if we still have all three. So I just want to give you guys an update, because I know I've been talking up until June, and here it is June. So it's time for a new update. So if you don't know, I have 3 placements. I say but me and my husband have 3 placements. We have a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a almost 5-month-old baby girl who we brought home from the hospital. They're all half siblings. So they're all related, obviously. Anyway, the boys moved in with us in the beginning of November, and they have been in care since June 30th. So they're coming next week up on their 1 year in foster care. I can't believe that. I can't believe I'm saying that. They've been in foster care a year next week. That's crazy. And then our little love came along at the end of January. So she's almost 5 months old. And so she's been in care for 5 months, her whole life. So if you're not familiar with how it works, every single year that they've been in foster care, at least in the state I live, they require an annual review where you go in front of a judge, and from my assumptions, the social workers and everybody gives like their opinion on where the case needs to go from this point on. Basically, at a year mark, they're just checking in to see like what's going on, trying to make sure that the case is not at a standstill. So I've said up until this point, there are 2 things that could happen in June. And this is just speaking specifically about my boys right now, because they are separated from our foster daughter at the moment. So I said that they could, well, there's 3 things. They could be reunified, which would take an additional time to work through that stuff, because we are not really doing anything to prepare for that at the moment. I would hope there would be some kind of transition. And then there is the goal change to adoption, or which, would head towards the social workers working towards TPR, which is termination of parental rights, so that they can go up for adoption. Or the last thing is that they give biofamily more time. And pretty much the way I understand it, it's 15 out of 22 months. If they've been in foster care 15 out of 22 months, where have they been in those 15 months? So basically, as to my understanding, the biofamily could have up until September to continue working their plan, in order to, keep things the same. So as I've mentioned before, our goal is still reunification. So that is what we are working towards. And so we have court at the beginning of July. I'm not going to say the date, but we have court at the beginning of July. And so that will be a huge court date that will determine where this case is going in the next few months. But on top of that, one thing that they're going to try to do, as to my knowledge, and I do know where the social worker is planning on taking this case, but I'm not going to get into that until I know for sure and it's done. But they are going to be trying to add our foster daughter in. And if you're familiar with the foster care system, usually they give parents a year, parents or family, a year to work their plan, there's not really a whole lot you can do in that year to like move towards adoption and things like that, goal change and things like that. So they usually give them a minimum of a year. And so the social worker trying to add all of the kids in together in one case is a big deal because they're 6 months off of each other, around 6 months off of each other. So, that's like saying they're trying to cut that time down and just put her with the boys and saying, listen, this is all one family, this is all one case. Whatever happens in the boys' case is going to happen in her case. They're going to try to get it together. So if the boys' goal changed to adoption, her goal would change. And like I said, that is kind of up in the air whether the judge will be okay with that. If, whatever decision, with merging their cases together, it's a big deal. Not saying one way or the other that it's planning on going, but it's a big deal to loop them together, just as an explanation of why that would be a big deal. So I'm not going to get in too much about this would happen if this, like if their goal changes to adoption, that would be this, and if it does this and does that. I'm not going to worry about that. I am going to try to get through this court date and then see where the case is going, and then I'll tell you what is coming. So, like I said, it's up in the air. I do know the plans from the social worker, but those can always change. Things change. The judge may not agree with plans and things like that. So, we'll see what the judge says. Now, on top of that, we do have a foster care review board hearing. I will link the video below where we had our first one. And it's rare that you get a second one. And just a quick overview, it's like you go and you sit in front of this panel of people, and they learn all the details about the case. They talk to you. Well, you're invited. The foster children are invited, and bio family is invited, and they all come and tell them about the case. And if nobody's there, they just read it, So you go and you tell them what's going on, and then they write up a report and send that report with their recommendation of where this case should go to the judge. So in my opinion, it's a really big deal. We had it done before. I was very nervous. I'm not as nervous this time because I know I've been through it once before, but I am curious why they're doing a second one. I honestly kind of feel like it's because we've added the baby in that they're doing a second one, but I guess we'll kind of find out. So I am planning on like vlogging that day and what kind of is happening with that. So right now we've been spending a lot of time getting ready. We also had a different change in RNC workers, which RNC is recruitment and certification, which is the person who basically is on our side, and they just try to help us keep our certification, make sure we get all of our training and things like that. Anything we really need, they're there for. So we are switching to that, and it is time for a home visit. They see us every 3 months, so it's time for another one of those. So we've got all that going on with court coming up. Also, so there has been some talk back and forth about some DNA testing, and no one really knows for sure if this is just talk, if this is actually in the works. We have no idea. No one has specifically asked me to get any of my children DNA tested. So, but it's just something that's been on our minds. So that's something that has been heavy on our hearts since we found this out. And it's not necessarily a huge deal, but unless, I don't know how to say this, but these could just be words, no one has asked me to get any of them DNA tested, so I don't know that it's even real. And I don't know what the reasoning would be behind it if it was real. I can't get into all the details, but it doesn't make sense to me why they would want this DNA test done, but I'm being told by someone that they do want it done, but I don't know why. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but it's just something that you hear and you think, okay, when you're doing a DNA test, if, let's just say, for example, if you're looking for a child's father, biological father, so if you find the father, you also, it doesn't open just up the father to a potential plan, it opens up a whole family that is potentially open to a plan. Not that this is a bad thing at all, but it's just like a big change and a big deal. And what terrifies me is that they're only interested in doing this on one child out of my 3. So nothing terrifies me more than them being separated. And that's just one thing that I want for them, especially the 2 boys. They are extremely close, and my youngest boy is very, very, very attached to our foster daughter. So I cannot imagine them being split up. There's nothing that would piss me off more than that. And I understand, like, okay, this child's biological father has no responsibility to take these other 2 children they have no connection with. But it's heartbreaking because they have such a bond. And these 3 kids, especially my 2 older boys, they have relied on each other so heavily. They have been through so much, and it's always been the 2 of them. And they're constantly together. They're best friends. If they were to be separated, I just don't know if I can handle it. And, when the baby was first born, it was really up in the air whether or not she would be staying, because the paternity was not known. It's still not known. But when the baby got here, we didn't know how long she would be here. So there wasn't that instant connection between the 3 of them. Like when the boys moved in, there was already a formed connection and bond. They're very, very, like, it was them 2, like no one else. It was just them 2. And so they didn't have that. But as time has gone on, she's almost 5 months old, they've really gotten attached to her, and they have formed this attachment. And I'm not going to say that it's as strong as the attachment between the 2 of them. My oldest is more distant from her than my youngest. But that is it. Out of everything that could possibly happen, that is just the one thing I would beg not to happen, is for them to be separated. And it is terrifying to think that could happen with this DNA test, if it's even real. So I don't know what is coming of that. I don't even know if this is a real, like I said, sometimes people just say stuff and you don't really even know what it's like. I don't even know what this is for. And it wouldn't make sense to me. So it's enough to, like, keep me up at night. You know what I'm saying? It's like, as I've talked about before, I struggle with anxiety, and like the unknown is terrifying to me. And up until this point, we have been in limbo basically with these cases. When we picked the boys up in November, they said you'll have them until at least June, unless something extremely dramatic happens up until then. And so that whole time I was like, God, why are we just sitting here and waiting like nothing's happening? And we need to get to June so we can have stuff start happening. Wherever they're going to be, they need to be there for good. They need permanency. I still believe that with all of my heart, that they need permanency and they need it fast. But it's like, there was this stability of knowing that they would be here until June. And it's like, we don't have that anymore. And it's like, I spent all this time like rushing up until June because I was ready for something to happen for them. And now it's like, oh God, why did I rush it? Like, I should have just not worried about it I don't know. It's just, I guess I took it for granted, knowing what was going to happen, which granted, you never know really what's going to happen. The extreme thing could have happened and they could have been moved somewhere else. And it's not necessarily about us. It's about them. And it's the fact that they need stability as long as they can get it. And, during that, up until this point, we've been able to have a really good routine. And we have seen so many behavior changes in them, so much better. And they have grown so much. They are so, so smart. They've learned so much. And it's just like they've gotten in this really good routine. And they're really good kids, which they were when they came. But it's just, we've really gotten into this routine that really works for them. And they're thriving. thriving. And it's just terrifying to not know what's coming next and not know how they will handle it. I haven't really talked about this before, but my oldest struggled quite a bit when he came. Mostly he had I don't know what this is called, but it's a kind of like a disorder where you don't process change well. If you guys can think of what this is called, let me know down below. And I feel like everybody probably has this, but for a 3-year-old that has experienced as much trauma as he has, it makes sense that he has this issue. But he does not process change well. And it's just terrifying because it took so long to get him out of this and work through this to get him to where he is now. And if he moves even to a really, really great home, it's still a big change and it's not what he's used to. And I just worry that he won't continue to thrive. And all of this being said, you guys are probably thinking, oh, you just don't want them to leave. And of course I don't want them to leave. I love them. And like, they're no different to me than a biological child would be. But as time has gone on, my focus has just really shifted, and it's not about me. And I just want the best for them. I want the best life possible for them. And I don't know who's going to give that to them right now. If they went for adoption and we were able to adopt them, we would do the best to give them the best life. If they were reunified, I would want them to have an amazing life. I just want the best possible outcome for them, and I just want them to thrive. I want them to do well. I want them to be successful. I don't want them to fall into this circle. And I don't know that I've mentioned this before, but you know, the bio family that's working this case was in foster care as well. And it's just like a vicious cycle, and I want to break it. I want to break it with these children. I don't want them to go down a bad path. I want them to be good citizens and people, and I want them to be respectful and successful. And I want the best for them, and it's hard basically being on the outside looking in, not knowing what's coming next, not having any say so in what comes next, even though I feel like I love them so much. And I wish I could say, you know, I wish, I guess I could look at everything and say, oh, this is a good decision, this is not a good decision, this is da 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 da. But I just don't know. I don't know what's happening behind the scenes. So that's what happens at court. You know, you go and you find out all this stuff that, you know, sometimes the social workers are not allowed to tell you everything. So a lot of times you find out stuff that you never even knew. And, you know, a lot of times social workers don't give you any hint as to what their plans are for the case. And I'm not saying like, oh, if the goal is reunification or if the goal is adoption, you know that. But, you know, things are happening behind the scenes that are leaning them towards one way versus the other. And you often don't know which way they're leaning. So that's kind of hard as well. But then you go to court and you can pretty quickly decipher what the plan, what the hope is. So, but even knowing what the social worker's plans and hopes are, which is great, you don't know what the judge will say about that. And it doesn't matter what anyone says, the judge has the final say so. They can totally do something way off base than the social worker even recommends. It's completely up to the judge. And we live in a small town, and, you know, we have the same judge all the way through this portion, but the next portion has a different judge, and there's multiple judges it could be, and it's like everyone has their own different personality, and everyone tells you, you don't want this judge, oh, you want this judge, you don't want this judge. And it's just so much unknown is coming, and I was so glad that things started moving in the case, and it's moving, that's for sure. But it's scary because there's no more safety net of they'll be here till June. Well, here it is, June, almost the end of June, and things are moving and things are going to get going. And you know, it's definitely, it's a good thing, but it's a scary thing. So I don't know what's to come in the next couple of months. I will try to keep you guys updated. I am planning on vlogging our foster care review board day, and I will be vlogging the day of court. That could be a very emotional video depending upon what happens. So that day will probably be really emotional for me because this is a day we've been like working up to since November when they moved in. So this is a big deal. Like, this is a big court date, bigger than any one that we've had before. So, and it's a huge deal. And as far as the DNA testing goes, I will kind of keep you guys in the loop about that if I can. I can't really give away too much information, but I just thought I'd share that because, and see if any of you other foster parents know what I'm talking about. It's just like, you know, it opens up a whole potential family that you don't know, people you don't know, people you've never met, you know, and it's the unknown of it. And it's hard. It's hard to think about. It's hard to think about that. Hard to figure out. It's like, this sounds stupid, but when we got him in November, I was like, oh, well, I know we'll have him for Christmas, so I could start that. I knew that one of them would be here for one of their birthdays, so we would have that. And now, you know, we got a birthday coming up in August, and I don't know how to plan for that. I don't know if I should plan for that. I have no idea where they'll be in August, you know? And that's scary to say. So anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling, but that is my update for you guys. Like I said, I will try to keep you updated as the weeks go on. Just please be patient with me on getting videos out. I am spending this summer enjoying time with my family because, you know, in foster care, you never know when that family's gonna change. So I was looking forward to like getting lots of videos up this summer, but my priority is and always will be my family. And so I'm just spending time with them and enjoying every second, because right now is all you have in foster care. It's really all that you have. So with that being said, I'm going to get off of here, and I will see you guys in my next video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, let me know any tips you guys have for me if you're a foster parent. I don't normally do this, but please keep us in your thoughts and prayers in this next month as we kind of figure out what's going to be going on. And, you know, hopefully whatever the outcome is in the best interest of the children, and, you know, it's something that is good for them. So just keep them in your thoughts and prayers as we go into this next couple weeks. And don't forget to subscribe before you go, or you guys might miss all these crazy videos that will be coming in the next few weeks with all these updates. And I will see you guys in my next video.